Afternoon, mother. How you guys doing? Welcome back. Um, More updates. I guess they're having a press conference about to have one now with regards to Nancy, Savannah's mother, and the new details. It's not sounding good. Not sounding good, man. They're saying signs of forced entry into the home. A small amount of blood found inside. They're doing like I guess DNA test to confirm whose blood it is. Indication she was taken against her will in the middle of the night. Her wallet was left behind, vehicle left behind. Um, some reports, I don't know if these have been stated as these aren't officially mentioned, but there's reports online, reportedly, supposedly, allegedly, that her Apple Watch was on its charger and that her pacemaker slash CRT monitors stopped reporting around 2 a.m. Sunday. So that's not fact. That's just, I guess, what the community is saying. I guess I have to look more into that. But it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. And you would think there'd be some kind of ransom by now if that's what it was, like a ransom or something. Oh, let me show you something too, real quick, while we wait. Brian Enton's out there in person.
Guys, so I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's home. This is her house right here, right outside Tucson, Arizona. This is where she went missing from, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mom. First thing I noticed coming out here that you don't really get the sense from on TV is just how kind of remote the area is. This is very much not in the city. Everybody lives on, I would say, an acre or more. There's no street lights. I was out here last night. It's really, really dark. So this isn't just like kind of a typical neighborhood. It has a rural vibe. You can see all the mountains there in the background. The latest on the investigation is we have confirmed to the sheriff here that they have found DNA inside the house that they are getting tested right now. The sheriff has said that he believes Nancy Guthrie was abducted, kidnapped, probably in the middle of the night, based on the timing information that they have, and that this is still all very much an active investigation. There's a news conference coming up in a couple of hours where we're hoping to get some new updates. But again, this is the house right here. Just a terrible, terrible story. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on any updates, and hopefully we'll learn more here in the next couple of hours.
So just a dark rural area at night, no street lights. They're about to have a press conference now. Oops, did I close it out? Close it out. Oops. Just pull that back up. They're about to have a press conference now. I wonder really what the motive is. What is the motive? Oh, here's some from. I can play this a little bit too, actually.
Pima County, Arizona, joining us now to discuss the case. And Sheriff, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Certainly, you're welcome.
And I want to start by kind of going back to the beginning. Can you kind of break down for me how all of this played out over the weekend?
Well, I'm going back to Sunday. It's probably maybe a little bit before 2 in the afternoon. I get a briefing. I get a lot of briefings, and this is from my search and rescue team. We have a pretty robust search and rescue team that does a great job. We've got desert trails and some beautiful mountain terrain, and so sometimes you get hikers who need assistance or they've got lost. And we also have a pretty large retirement community, and sometimes we get somebody may walk away from a care facility, and so they're called out to those events as well. They are very good at what they do in finding people. So usually their briefings that they give me are, hey, we're going out on somebody on a trailhead that got lost or injured, or we're looking for this elderly person who may have wandered away from a care facility. This briefing was a little bit more I don't want to get into the details, but when they sent it to me, I thought, this is not our normal elderly person missing. This is an 84-year-old woman who has all of her faculties and just as sharp as a tack. And there were some things they described at her home that just didn't set well, and I just felt like, you know what, we need to bifurcate this a little bit. We're gonna take our search and rescue team and continue in that operation, and hopefully they'll find her here shortly, and we'll be done. But in the meantime, I can't sit here and just ignore what I'm hearing, and so we get our homicide team started to the house as well to start the criminal side of this investigation. Today we've moved fast forward to now. The search and rescue still will go on to some extent, but clearly this is more and more turning into nothing but a criminal investigation that will use the search and rescue resources should they need them to help them locate Miss Guthrie.
So for the timeline, for those, if you missed it, we have a couple of minutes before they start the press conference. She went missing on Saturday. Well, Saturday night was the last time she was seen. Saturday night between 9:30 and 9:45 in the Catalina Foothills of Tucson, Arizona, near East Line Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Family members, including children, drop her off after dinner. She goes to bed, or at least interacted with around this time. Her Apple Watch and other devices reportedly stopped updating or left on charger overnight. Sunday morning at 11 a.m., Nancy she had like a church service she was supposed to go to at 11 Mountain Standard Time, and she didn't show up, and so they were concerned, and so they called family members. At around 12 to 12:15 Mountain Standard Time, Sunday, on the 1st, the family members go to her home to check on her and search the property for about an hour. Then they call 911 because she was missing. And so on. There was the story from there. So they believe they found signs of forced entry, small amount of blood, her wallet left behind, phone, vehicle, other items left behind. And there's a $2,500 reward, which is kind of surprising. I thought there'd be more, but $2,500 reward.
No, not like that. This whole time, so I'm just gonna clip it on.
Still missing.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about this DNA sample. I know you can't go into specific details right now because you want to protect the integrity of the investigation. What can you tell me about a DNA sample found there inside of the home?
Well, what I would tell you is we processed the scene. The criminal teams got there. They like any crime scene, right? You're doing everything you can. You're gathering physical evidence from cameras and cell phones and anywhere you can find digital imagery, whatever it may be, as well as fingerprints, DNA, whatever it is. So they process that scene, they leave with all this evidence, and we submit that to various labs, various companies to do some downloads for us, to work with them to see if we can develop any further leads. The DNA samples we've submitted have started to trickle back to us, but there is nothing there that that would suggest that there's a suspect we've identified. In fact, actually, what we've gotten back from them, from the labs, is more exactly what you would expect, samples from those who live at the residence. And so we'll continue. We've not got all of our submittals back, but we want it now, right? I'm like you. I want to know right now. But those companies, those corporations that handle those things for us, they've stepped up in a big way. In fact, actually, we've heard, and it's thanks to the media, we've heard from people like Google and Apple and Meta and Face, all these major corporations, some of our flock camera systems and Axon camera system companies, they've called and said, what do you need, Sheriff? So we really appreciate that. And that's really a direct result from what you all have done for us. Our community support is tremendous. And again,
I don't know. It's possible it's random. I saw somebody left me a wild comment yesterday. I don't believe it, but somebody said, oh, maybe the daughter has something to do with it. But bro, that's crazy. I guess it could be random. I mean, I don't know. Out of all the houses, but it could happen like that. Out of all the houses, happens to be this NBC star reporter, her mother.
Like I say, our law enforcement teams, both locally, statewide, federally, FBI has been super. Everybody's been just a great team effort here in Tucson, and we'll continue working that way.
I wanted to ask about some of the comments that were made about her believed to have been taken against her will. There's been
I don't believe it was the daughter at all, but just saying.
Been questions about kind of the description of that and whether it means that she was possibly kidnapped, abducted. What can you kind of say to clarify that?
I can just shut up. That would help a lot. You know, for me, I'm learning too. Every word I say, rightfully so, people are hanging on to it. So mea culpa. When I say she's taken from her bed, that's pretty figuratively speaking. I can't, and I'll try to watch that. But we believe she went to bed that night, and sometime in the middle of the night, she was removed from that home against her will. We're working on a time frame. We've got the time frame from 9:30, 9:45 Saturday. She's dropped off by family, and then 11 in the morning she's discovered to be missing by family. That's a large window. We understand that, and we're working on narrowing that down to give us a better focus point. But for me, the fear is if I tell you, oh, it's from 10 a.m. to, or it's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, I could lose a lot of data from our community to say, oh, well, this happened at 1 in the morning, so it couldn't have been it. No, we don't want that. We want our community to just give us all the data you have, all the information you have, and we'll be the ones to decipher that and dismiss it if need be, but just keep that information coming. Again, thanks to the media, we're getting a lot of leads, a lot of good tips, and that's vital to any case, but particularly this one. We're stumped. We came to a home that the person is missing, and now we've got to find it. And this is under some pretty unusual circumstances.
Social media in general, it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. Tell me how it's kind of maybe helped in this situation as you are trying to gather those leads. As you've said, there have been a lot that have come in, but how does social media kind of factor into that?
Yeah. So for me, we have our own social media team, our public information officers, our community relations teams. They're all over that. They keep an eye on it. They watch for it. As
About to start. Who knows? A housekeeper maybe, or somebody that's managed the house, the land.
I don't know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, I'm Sheriff Chris Nanos. John Edwards is the Tucson chief here for the FBI, and he'll have some words for you as well. This is really, for me, pretty new, all the media attention. So I apologize to you for sometimes I'm speaking in generalities, and I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words and then trying to hold me accountable. I don't say. Know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, so we're going to try our best to be succinct with you in the future, and also more important for you to understand is, this is really we have a lot of work pretty new. We have a job to do. And we have someone's life who is in jeopardy, and so job number one is we got to find her, and we got to work hard to do that. I understand there's great attention on this. And rightfully so, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for it, because it has generated a lot of leads for us. And so we're tracking those leads, and we're doing things with evidence that you would expect us to be doing. So having said that, we're going to set this up. I know that a number of you yesterday, you guys drove me crazy. Yesterday I was going from a.m. to all the way till 9, 10, 11 midnight, answering concerns and questions, and it's just too tough, and it's not fair to the case. So what I'm going to tell you is today we're going to do this similar to what we're doing right now. Here we'll take questions. It's not really my briefing, it's your briefing. You'll be able to ask us some questions. We'll probably shut you off after a while because I just can't be here all day. We have work to do. But we'll take some questions, and then in a couple of days, unless something breaks, we'll do this every couple of days. So, and we'll set up with you through our PIO teams to give you anything that comes up that might change, but clearly they will notify you on these, what I call media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work.
Hello, I'm John Edwards. My spelling is Jonedwards. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We are looking at this from every angle, but we need your help. If you live in the area or saw something on Saturday night, the 31st of January, or Sunday morning, the 1st of February, please report it to the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Every lead and tip is important. We are aggressively pursuing and
I got to pick up the little one, so I'll be listening.
Looking into every single one. Again, please help us bring Nancy Guthrie home. Thank you.
We'll take some questions.
Sheriff, is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or targeted?
It's like I said earlier, we're looking at all the leads, and we don't know. We're going to assume both sides of that. We'll look at both sides of that.
Sheriff, any idea what Nancy Guthrie was wearing, or the type of car that she might have left from, or any identifiable information that the public could use to help with those tips?
We do not.
Sheriff, do you believe that one or more than one person was involved in the kidnapping?
I just no clue. It could have been one. It could have been more. I don't know. Let me get one second.
Is there any indication that Nancy Guthrie is still alive? We know the medication played a critical role here. It's been 48 hours. She needs it every single day. Are you looking for someone that is still alive?
We hope we are. We hope we are.
Sheriff said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sheriff, when you reference violence at the site, can you elaborate on that? And also, was there a sign of forced entry, any valuables taken, any bank or ATM cards used after her disappearance?
We're not getting into that. What I'd tell you is, like any crime scene, we processed this crime scene. We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us. And we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
Did you find DNA that did not belong in that house?
The window of time from when she was last seen to when she was reported missing, and I know you guys are asking for help from the public, is there any way to narrow down what time you might be helpful? I know there was a report about a pacemaker dinging like around 2 o'clock in the morning. Is there any way to indicate to people, hey, look around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. to help them identify what might happen?
I really don't want to get into narrowing down the time, because narrowing it down means we could miss some tips and leads. We're working with the data we've submitted for investigative analysis. We're working to see if that time can be tightened up. But for now, we're going with what we told you earlier. She was dropped off at 9:30, and she was found to be missing at about 11 o'clock Sunday morning.
Sheriff,
Let me get this one.
DNA of anyone else found in the house?
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
Anybody strange in the neighborhood? I know you're looking at video, different surveillance camera, anything that we should be looking at, different cars?
I have nothing in that regard.
Have any demands been made by kidnappers?
We have all kinds of investigative leads we're working on.
Sheriff, we noticed that the camera on the front of the house is missing. Do you believe the perpetrator purposely took the camera?
Don't know that. We're looking into that as well. Yes, sir.
That scene been fully processed now. We saw deputies leave around 6 o'clock last night. We didn't see tape go up. You know, an Amazon driver was able to walk right up to the door. Is that pretty standard for how you handle this?
The scene is done. We're done with the residents. If we need to go back to get, maybe we want to do something with some other piece of evidence there, we contact the family and let them know. But we've turned that over to the family. I don't have the time, but it was sometime yesterday, I believe.
Did you cover any tire tracks or any
No, ma'am.
footprints around the house?
No.
Was there any Could you please take us through the timeline that you've established of the events so far and with the
9:45, 9:30, 9:45, we were told she was left at her home by the family. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the family got notice from somebody at church that she was not at church. They went to the home, found her to be missing. That's the timeline. From Saturday night, 9:45, we'll say, to Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Let me get somebody back here, please.
Have you interviewed the people that reported her missing, the people from the
That's the family. Oh, from the church as well. We're doing all kinds of interviews, yes, I'm sure we have.
Have you been able to access the footage from the cameras at the house?
Well, that's all been submitted, and we're doing our best with those companies who own those cameras or built those cameras.
Are there any plans to release those videos from the cameras, from the surveillance? Are there any plans to release the video from the cameras, surveillance footage?
We don't even have them yet, so no, not at this time. This is an active investigation.
There's a report of a suspicious man a few doors down last week. Is that anything that you guys are aware of?
I'm not aware of it. My detectives may be. There's a lot of detective work being done, and I just can't get into those weeds or even discuss with you what they may not have learned. Yes, ma'am.
Report from the board yesterday. Are there specific resources that maybe the board has not granted that would have made a difference responding to this case?
Well, you know, that's getting into my own local politics. I apologize. Yes, the board a few weeks ago denied a request for more cameras, more drones, more AI capabilities with our own body-worn cameras. All those things, you know, that you'd have to talk to the board. I'm not probably not the right time to go into this.
Sheriff,
let me get somebody else here.
Sheriff,
Yes.
do you think she's still in this area?
Do we believe?
Do you think she's still in this area, or is there somewhere else?
We don't know where she is. So we're like any investigation. You start from the point of where we last saw her, and we work out, and we are working as far out as we can go.
Sheriff, can you walk through
were there
the evidence
of
on
forced entry at the house, like any broken windows or whatever? Or does it seem like people just went in and out?
There are concerns at the house that concerned us from the early on part of this investigation, and that's all I will tell you. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff, is there any history with Nancy needing police at her place, or concerns where she was worried about somebody following her, or?
You know, our investigative team has looked into all of those things, and that has not been brought to my attention. So she may have had something like that, but I'm not aware of it.
What is the extent of collaboration with the federal government? Obviously, FBI is here, CBP. Are there other agencies also involved?
CBP's role in this was in our search and rescue mission, where we constantly use them. They have great dogs. Our dogs aren't tracking dogs for this. Theirs are, and so they came out and did that. Anybody else, though, that we've asked for help from, whether it's the FBI, I know if we needed help from CBP or DEA or ATF, they would gladly give it. I've heard from leadership from all sorts of agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the state. Every one of them saying, Sheriff, you need anything, we're here.
So you obviously said investigators, when they got on scene, they found suspicious circumstances. When the family called originally to report her missing, did they say anything about the state of the home?
I don't know that. I don't know. Let me hang on. Let me make sure I'm getting some different people here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So there was blood that was found found inside the house and you're testing it for DNA, how much blood and where was it?
I'm not saying there's blood inside that house or outside that house. What I'm saying is our team processed a scene like you would think of any crime scene. We go in and we process it. We look for things like that: blood, DNA, any kind of physical evidence, fingerprints, anything, and all of that is gathered and submitted to a lab. That lab will report back to us what they find. So far, that what we found from that lab is nothing that would tell us this is who did this.
We'll take a couple more questions, and then the sheriff's got to go.
Sheriff, can you walk through the evidence that was found at the scene in as much detail as possible?
No, I cannot.
What is
I
the
cannot.
bottleneck to the surveillance footage? I know you said some of it is in the cloud, but you've also been reached out to tech companies that are saying they're cooperating. Why do you not have the surveillance footage on media?
That's what I tell them. How come I don't have this? Where's my evidence? It is a process, and I'm sorry, but you know, we're grateful that there's large corporations and companies who have bent over backwards to help us, to say, hey, Sheriff, tell us what you need. And so, yeah, I can't slam them. And we've asked them. They know the urgency here, but I'm like you. What do you mean I don't know that now? Yeah, it's tough.
Follow up on an answer that you gave earlier. You were asked if there
Last question.
You were asked if there was any ransom, and you didn't say no. You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We're following all leads we have. That's all I can tell you. We've got hundreds of leads, and it's from you that produce those leads by telling people we need help, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not going to get into all that. We have a team designated to deal with all of our leads. They're looking into all of that. We are sharing all of our leads with the FBI. They are helping us in evaluating those leads, how good they are, where their priority should be. And so we're just, look, I know you guys are doing your job, and you're doing a great job. But we have a job to do too, and I really need to back away from this for a while, and we'll see you, unless something breaks, we'll see you Thursday morning. PIO will give you a time frame, I'm guessing somewhere around 11:30. But
That's it.
Thank you.
I need your emails. If you are not on the email list, get with me in the corner. I'll be right by the sheriff's side, okay?
No.
Yeah, you got it.
Love you, Mel. Light blue heart emoji.
door open.
Press conference over. Oh. I see some of you guys hung out to chat. Let me check on this. There was a barricade that was sent to me. I don't know if it's still going on. I checked it out. Nancy Grace. She believes that somebody took Nancy Guthrie that knows her, that this wasn't like random. Which I feel like statistically, or Occam's razor, I feel like it could be, it'd be more likely that the person somehow knew her, whether it was like a housemaid, one of those people working, cleaning, like doing, I don't know why I can't think of the word. Not gardening, you know, but those people that work on the land. I don't know. Did you really behave while I was gone? Yeah, I still have the fish. The fish there in the background. I don't know if it's a full screen. I might look crazy. Come on. Full screen. Fish are right back here. I got a bunch of plants here. I'm thinking of moving the plants out tonight. Back outside. But the only thing is it's going to drop to the 50s. I think tonight's going to drop into the... I don't know if I should try to wait one more night before bringing them out. There was crickets that I brought in, and the crickets stopped chirping. They only chirped the first night, and they didn't chirp anymore. But apparently crickets, once it drops a certain temperature, like they go dormant. Let me see. Tonight it's going to be... Let's see. It's 66 right now. It's going to start dropping 6 p.m. at 63, 10 p.m. 56, 2 a.m. 53. It's going to drop into the 50s, which is not really bad for the plants, I guess. Too bad. The last two, Monday, it dropped into the 30s. And then it said it feels like 20 something. That was like the coldest night. But I don't remember the last time we've had such a stretch of cold in Florida. It's been like a really long time since I could think. Doesn't feel normal. Feels abnormal. But I was thinking of maybe bringing out the plants tonight because I don't think they're getting the appropriate light in here. They're getting some light, but they're meant to be outside. Yeah, all the iguanas all over Florida. All of them, they're considered invasive animals because they were brought in from some other country. I guess people wanted them as exotic pets or whatever. And then they reproduce, and the females have a bunch of eggs. I forgot the numbers, like up to 60 something eggs or something like that. So once they're loose, they start reproducing like mass, and then they do a bunch of damage to property. They cause erosion by the water side. They do a bunch of like damage and stuff, and animals too. Also, their poop has salmonella, you know, so there's like a health aspect to it as well. And so when they start passing out, a bunch of people start going around collecting them, and they have like centers where you can hand in all these iguanas, apparently. Iguana centers. I stepped on your white couch with the dirty shoes. The white couch might be one of the worst mistakes I've made in a while when it comes to furniture. That shit, I'm like washing it, the covers all the time, trying to keep it clean, but was not a good idea. Do I want to know why you purposely brought in the crickets? I didn't bring them in on purpose. I brought in the plants, and they came in with the crickets. I was surprised. I would have thought that like the crickets would jump off. I didn't think they just hang and chill. And then the problem is when I go to bring the plants back out, I don't know if the crickets are still on the plants or they moved into warmer places in the house. Are they going to procreate inside of the house? I don't know. Oh, and the other thing too, real quick, I mentioned yesterday with the whole Billie Eilish. I don't know if you guys remember, I mentioned Billie Eilish and that she said that this is stolen land, that nobody's illegal on stolen land. And apparently, I don't know, what's the, I don't know what to do. What's a better screen for all this shit? Oh. I gotta fix this shit. I thought I had a little screen for it, but I don't know. I did have a screen for it. Apparently, they've reached out to the Tongva tribe. They actually got confirmation that her house, her $1 million, I think it's 11 million or 14 million. I forgot how much it costs. Her $1 million mansion is on the Tonga tribe land. And so people are saying they should give her property over to the originators, the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin. Eilish has not contacted the tribe directly regarding her property. So people are wondering, when are you going to hand in your property to the people of the Tongva? What's up with that? Yeah, the crickets I was reading, they like 75 and up temperature. Let's see, crickets. $75 to $90. So even in my house, it's not ideal for them because right now inside of here it's like 68. I turned off the heater today. So right now it's actually, I don't know what it is. Even inside of here is not ideal for the crickets. I mean, at least it'll keep them alive. It's 68 in here. Below 65 and 70, crickets become sluggish and less active. They cannot survive freezing temperatures and will die if kept in a refrigerator. But Minnesota was purchased from France. What? Was it? Here's Nancy Grace, too. Nancy Grace. Let's play a little clip of this.
Nancy Grace is here, the host of Crime Stories with Nancy Grace on YouTube. It's great to see you. You're the first person I think of when looking at a story like this, and the details that we know so far, Nancy, and then the lack of details that have been released. What is going through your mind? What concerns you here?
Well, first of all, it's very difficult for me to talk about it because I hold Savannah Guthrie very close to my heart. She and I worked together for a long time at Court TV. First of all, it's bleak. It's bleak. From what I understand, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother, was taken forcibly out of her home. Her front door was unlocked and the lights were on. What does that tell me? That tells me that someone else entered the home and took her because it was not her custom and practice to leave her door unlocked or all the lights on in the home. We're now hearing about a so-called mystery car. Did someone drive up to her home and pull her out of her bed? We're hearing reports that there was blood found at the scene, which obviously indicates a struggle.
But I feel like during the press conference, he kind of walked back the blood thing a bit. Like he said there's evidence, but I feel like, I don't know, what do you guys think? I feel like he was trying to like suggest that it wasn't like a bunch of blood or something, or that it could belong to anybody, like they're running it through the DNA. And they have no idea where she is, which is just kind of wild to me. Oh shit! People talking about the boyfriend or whatever. I didn't realize JLR was talking about Nancy Guthrie was with these two people and possibly others before she went missing. Her daughter Annie Guthrie and the boyfriend Tommaso Sino. They both bought a $650 or $1,000 home last year, 10 minutes away from Nancy's home.
That someone was struck or worse. Now, concerning is the claim that there was a mystery car. Is that real, or is that just somebody trying to get clicks or views online? If it's real, that tells me something very disturbing, that this is not random. For a car to allegedly have pulled up to Nancy Guthrie's home and taken her out, That indicates that this is not just a burglar wandering around trying to get in and steal your VCR, trying to steal some jewelry, trying to steal electronics. This is someone that drove to her house and got her out and took her away. Why?
And they need to look at the will too. Does this mother have a will? Is a family named in there? Willie said the sheriff wouldn't comment on whether a ransom had been asked for. Yeah, I noticed that too. He kind of like skirted around it. He's just like, oh, we're taking all questions and answers, or we're looking at everything and all tips and something like that.
The first thing is to bring in canines. And sadly, that is scent tracker dogs and cadaver dogs. I believe that's been done. Where did it lead? What do we know? It tells me this. She is not in that surrounding area. One, she doesn't have dementia. She doesn't have Alzheimer's. She has no cognitive decline. So she didn't just wander out of the house in her pajamas and end up in the woods. That didn't happen. The dogs didn't find her. So I can rule that out. Someone has absolutely taken her. Now I've got to figure out how much time do I have. We know the statistics, and I don't like the statistics. They taste like dirt in my mouth right now. With every hour that passes, the likelihood that she will survive decreases. That is why, without losing hope, we have to hurry. How can we advance this investigation? I believe it was a targeted attack.
I think she's right, though. I mean, I don't know, because if this was just a random, I mean, that's the thing, too. If there is a ransom, maybe they wouldn't tell us right now, the public. Maybe they wouldn't tell us. I mean, I think about like some stories back in the day of ransom stories. They probably wouldn't tell the public. But as far as like it probably is targeted, because if this was random, I mean, wouldn't they just go there to steal some stuff? What would be the point of taking this lady? Is she 89 years old, 84 years old? Taking this elderly lady and dragging her out of this house. What would be the point of that? Unless you know the person, you wanted some money, had some ulterior motives. If you were just there to rob, why not just rob? Or if you're going to kill, just kill right there and move on. But the taker.
Who knew she would be there? Who knew she would come home from that church event?
Right, exactly.
And miss church.
Right, the timing of it too. She had got dropped off at 9:30 that night and taken in the middle of the night, and she had church service the next morning.
The next morning. Who knew she would be there? Who knew her routine and practice? Who knew she would be alone? Who knew either the alarm code or that there is no?
That's what I was wondering too. How does she have these cameras in the house? They said she has cameras in the house. So there has to be some kind of video or something, I would think. Unless the person damaged the cameras, or the cameras weren't set up properly, or wasn't recording. Gotta have an alarm. The basic of basic. But I guess if there is an alarm, it wasn't on, because the cops would have been called that night. They would have been alerted, I would think. Unless it's somebody that knows Mama and has the code to the alarm, or made her turn off the alarm, or whatever it is.
Alarm, or that it would be activated. Who knew that? Are there cameras? What can they tell me? For Pete's sake, everybody and their brother has a Ring door cam now.
Yeah.
What have we learned? That's where it needs to go right now. I identify people in her circle and a little bit beyond, employees, people that work in the neighborhood, people that work next door, people that work in her grocery store. They need to be identified, and pronto.
Do you think, Nancy, can I ask you, do you think it's someone that potentially knew Nancy Guthrie?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't mean that they had lunch with her on Sunday afternoon or went to the movies with her, but someone not necessarily in her circle, like her children or her relatives. Beyond that, somebody that cut her grass, somebody that worked on her car, somebody that cleaned the church halls or did the yard there, somebody that knows her and knows her practice and pattern, that knows she'll be alone, that can take her out. Otherwise, why target her? Why such a clean entry exit? So I'm not hearing anything about fingerprints. I'm not hearing about any lead. I believe this is someone that didn't necessarily know her, but knew her enough to take her.
Yeah.
She's been forcibly taken from her home, an 84-year-old granny with mobility issues. My mother's 94. She lives with me. There's no way she's going to walk off our property.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody took Nancy Guthrie, somebody that knew her.
They found her wallet, Nancy Guthrie's wallet at her home, her cell phone, her medications there, and then there was evidence, and this is the hard part to report, there's evidence that she was indeed harmed. I wanted to show you this really quickly because you've worked with the Today Show host Savannah Guthrie for some time, and she put out a statement, and she was asking for prayers in this moment, and I'll show this to our viewers. And she says this: "Thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment. We need you. Bring her home." Just response there, Nancy, to that statement by Savannah.
Well, it breaks my heart. I know Savannah, and I know she's a person of faith. I know Mrs. Guthrie is devout, and they are calling on a power much greater than you or me or the police.
So the whole thing with the other sibling. So Savannah Guthrie, which is the NBC reporter star, co-anchor. Then there's Nancy, the missing mother. And then there's Annie, the sibling of Savannah, Anna Guthrie. She's the older sister to Savannah. And then there's Cameron, the brother. Now, the sibling Annie it's true, apparently does live near the mother. So the sister, Annie, and her husband live near Nancy. And they live in the same neighborhood. It says here multiple reports, including from Men's Journal, Daily Mail, and others covering the case, confirm Annie and Tommaso live in a $1 million home in Toucan, however you say it, Catalina Foothills neighborhood, Tucson. These places nearby Nancy's residence. Okay. The other thing too is they're saying that the sibling, the sister, the older sister, was the last person to see Nancy alive. So they were having dinner with her on January 31st, 2026, before dropping her off at home around 9:30 to 9:45. Annie reported no red flags in Nancy's behavior or the home during the visit.
To bring their mother home, and how that cannot touch not only our hearts, but the heart of the person that took her, and possibly the people that took her. I do not know. I know this: she's an 84-year-old lady that needs her meds and has mobility issues. Who would take her and why? And yes, I join with Savannah in prayer, not just tonight, but right now, to bring her mother home.
Still so many questions remain. Nancy Grace joining us with her thoughts. It's great to see you, Nancy. Unfortunate under these circumstances, I know. But
okay. Let me see. Is that barricade still going, or is it over? Okay, it might be over, that barricade. Did you guys hear too about I saw somebody mention in the chat earlier, Jill Biden's ex-husband, man, was charged with murder, killing his wife. Holy shish. Wow. Damn, Joe Biden's first husband charged with killing wife in domestic dispute. These people are crazy. There was a picture of the guy too. Yeah, the guy looks deranged, man. Wow. Whoa. What the? Damn. Deranged. Domestic dispute. At that age, still dealing with all this kind of shit. Wow. Oh, really, Layla? Yeah. My gosh. Let me see what else. I am gonna do like I said earlier, I think I'm gonna do a Rumble Premium. I might do it tonight if I'm up to it. I might do it tonight if there's nothing breaking. And go through a bunch of clips and just start early this month and not wait till last minute like I did last month. I gotta do 5 hours, so maybe I'll do like an hour tonight or something. That's crazy, man. You never know who's watching, you know, where you live. You never know who's watching, who's plotting. But a lot of the times it's people you know, your own people, your own family, or whoever, or somebody comes to the house to fix something or do some kind of maintenance and they're looking at your house, looking at you. Massive fireball erupts. Natural pipeline explodes. Damn. Another pipeline. There's no indication they moved recently to be closer. Annie has a long-standing ties with Tucson. Reports frame their residence as established in the neighborhood. The family described as close-knit, with Annie's proximity making regular visits, like dinner, common. It could be somebody in that neighborhood that just knew they had money. Also, there's just been so much shit with the Epstein files. I don't even know how to keep up anymore. Every day I'm seeing some new shit. And Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are going to testify. I guess they agreed to the last day before they're going to be held in contempt of court. They're going to go testify. That should be interesting. I don't know when that's happening. I need to find out. ICE has arrested an illegal alien New Orleans police recruit who was given a firearm from the African nation of Cameroon with an active deportation order and no work authorization. Dang. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. That's just wicked, man. Wicked when they come for your parents. But oh shit, TMZ? Really? Oh shit. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, TMZ is saying they got an unverified ransom note. Let me show you guys. Mm-mm. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Yeah, everybody's in that shit, man. Levine was in there too.
Got something in our email that looks like a ransom. It's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific
and they're
request
very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also, they say at the bottom there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
it's us.
We know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop and.
What's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, and we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and it's again, we don't know
if
it's
this is legit, right.
if it's authentic or not, but they're when you read it, they're acting as if, yeah, only we would know these things, right. And we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there. Mm-hmm. So we will let you know as this thing kind of develops.
All right, hold on. We might have some breaking news too. We might have to shift. Let me see. We might have to shift. Verify this. Hmm. Oh. There was a school lockdown. I guess they got calls. Okay. There was no active threat. I think it's over already. Okay. Up. So crazy. So maybe this is, I wonder if this is a legit ransom note.
something in our email.
How'd you announce it? Ransom, no. Maybe if it is legit, they don't want to go through. They don't want to go through. I wonder what it looks like. Are they going to put it out? Harvey got to get involved now. He got to detract from the Epstein files. Oh, shit. Everybody's getting caught up with the files, man. Everybody's in those files. Ransom. I want to see what it looks like. Did they put it together from different pieces of the newspaper? Different characters cut out? Did they type it out? Why TMZ? Mm-hmm. Well, if it is true, which I hope they're not messing around, because sometimes, you know, a lot of the times there's these fake ransom notes when somebody goes missing. All these scammers start coming around, contacting the family, making whatever. So hopefully it's legit. But maybe there's hope that Nancy's alive, you know? Maybe there's hope. I think I'm going to do, maybe I'll try to do this Rumble thing here in a bit. I don't have a Ring door cam. Fuck that tech shit. I look out my window. It's good to have a camera, man. And they're very affordable. The cameras now. I bought these little 2 cameras. I have some cameras on my alarm system. They're like, I guess, Google cameras or whatever. But I bought this shit the other day. And I was actually impressed by the quality. I got 2 for 1. Not 2 for 1, but I got 2 cameras for like $80. And I put one in the front. And I put one inside. And I was really impressed by the quality. It was way better than this other bullshit that I have. I was like, what the hell? It looks way better. The view is wider. You see a whole lot more. The night vision, the nighttime thing is way better. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't think it was going to be that good. I was surprised. The only problem is they don't have integration with Google Home. I wish they would have integration with that, but it's actually really nice. I bought these 2 cameras for $80. It said 3 megapixels, so I didn't think it was going to be good. Oh, that shit is amazing. Amazing. Three little megapixel cameras. Let me see what everybody's saying about the TMZ thing here. I wonder if they're talking about it live. Let's see.
What?
They're live right now. Let's see. Yeah, they're calling him a pedo in the chat. Jeez.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody's former advisor.
Lindsey Bond and F. Oh, what did she say? She's fucking skiing, baby.
She's gonna ski?
She's gonna do it. Oh, wow.
ACL.
Fuck yeah. With what?
Yeah, she's got a ruptured ACL.
She's
Guess
gonna
what?
do it? got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific
And they're
request
very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also, they say at the bottom there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
it's us.
We know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop and...
What's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, and we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and this it's again, we don't know
if
it's
this is legit, right.
if it's authentic or not, but they're when you read it, they're acting as if, yeah, only we would know these things, right. And we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we will let you know as this thing kind of develops.
From who? That's a good question. Did they say from who? Return to sender? Like who's it? Where to drop off the money? They said they contacted police. I was trying to see if they come up with an article about it or something. They said they're going to have a segment coming up. Let me see what else. Anything else? No, I do want to do the Rumble Premium in a bit here. And we'll stay in tune for whatever comes breaking tonight. The Epstein files. There's also like a Steve Bannon interview or something with Epstein that came out. I've only seen little snippets, but that might be interesting to watch. I wonder how long the interview is. Oh shit, it's 2 hours, huh? Before it gets deleted, full Jeffrey Epstein interview by Steve Bannon. I wonder if we should watch that one day. It's 2 hours long, though.
So they're not going to hear me on this part, right? We're going to do it both ways?
It will not be on the video.
That's wild. You guys watched it? Groundhog Day, I saw the other day, said it's going to be cold. How's the 5090? What did you have before? I had the 4090. The 5090 is nice. It's I haven't had. Oh, the only problem I had was power. I had 1,000-watt PSU, and apparently that's the reason why my computer would freeze up and shut off. I didn't have enough power, and so I upgraded to a 1200 Corsair PSU, and so far I haven't had any problems. I did want to upgrade to like this really, really gangster PSU that I heard about, that I never heard about before. I forgot the name of it. Grok was telling me about it. Really high quality one, but I just didn't have time. It would take time to ship it and all this stuff. And the Corsair was like a good price, and so I upgraded to PSU. And it's funny because I called this technical guy at a tech store and I asked him. He's like, "Oh no, plenty of people run with 1,000. Plenty of people run with 1,000." But when I was asking Grok, it's like 1,000 is the bare minimum. If you look on the website, I think of NVIDIA, 1,000 watts is like the bare minimum requirement, and you know that's not even taking into account the CPU, which I have the i9, and whatever else in the computer. So since then, I haven't had a problem, but it's probably a little bit overkill, maybe. I mean, I have 3 4K monitors running at 144 hertz each. And sometimes, I'm live streaming. I'm sometimes editing photos. I'm sometimes editing videos while streaming. So, but I have no complaints. It's been pretty good. I saw some girl the other day. Her video card was burning live. She like recorded it. You saw that? Her shit was smoking up. And some people have said that there's like a complaint going around that certain adapters and ports. That's true. It's never overkill. Certain adapters and ports, they're like burning out and stuff. Melting. I don't have the MSI. NVIDIA RTX 16 power connector catches fire. This is the girl that hers was burning.
Or is this fine?
Literally burning. And she's just like recording, chilling. They said for some reason she didn't turn off the stream. She just kept recording it. Even the 4090, I guess some people had that problem. I know you have to make sure you have the correct adapter, correct power cable on the video card. And if you get a new PSU, use the one that the PSU comes with. And you got to make sure it's in there snug and tight, all the way in. I had a video card one time burn up on me, but this was like a long time ago. It wasn't even like a gangster video card. And it had like a water system, but the water systems back then, it's like, I did it myself. That was the first part where I fucked up. So yeah, I had the tubing. It was like a neon color, and I filled the fluid myself, and then you got to tighten it up yourself. And everything was water cooled. I had the video card, the processor, and just like these tubes going all over the place. It was a mess. It was when I first started kind of messing around. And one of the tubes started leaking onto the video card. That shit literally smoked up, and like a little fire started. I was like, oh shit, I wish I would have like recorded it. Yo, hoax. Yeah, the entire cable housing case just broke while pulling it out. Holy shit. With my case, the other case that I had, I went to go open it one day and the whole glass just shattered. I didn't do anything. I didn't puncture it. I didn't hit it. I didn't like whatever. I just took the thing off and everything just into 1,000 pieces. I was like, what the fuck? All right, yeah, I guess maybe that's it. But I'm happy with the video card. It's smooth. I've had no problems. I'm happy with the i9 processor too. I've always been like an AMD person, but this time I went with Intel, and I haven't had any problems, no overheating, nothing. And I'm using the internet that I'm using is, I haven't even told people this shit. I'm gonna take a picture and post it on X later. I'm using 3 T-Mobile 5G home internets in my backyard. It looks fucking crazy. I have to take a picture and show you. I got 3 modems in the back and Starlink on the roof, all hooked up to a router here. And that's how I'm streaming. Had to get rid of Comcast. Had to be done with it, man. Couldn't do it anymore. It's that bad. That would be fucking crazy if the kidnapper was like illegal or something. Yeah, I'll play it over again. TMZ, they're saying they got a ransom note, unverified ransom note.
So we got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific request
and they're very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also they say at the bottom, there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
It's us.
we know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop and
Shit, TMZ might have sent it to themselves. It's like an anonymous account.
Interesting is,
I don't think they'd play around with that though. Like that's too much. Like an active case.
there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, and we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and it's again, we don't know
if
it's
this is legit, right.
if it's authentic or not, but they're when you read it, they're acting as if, yeah, only we would know these things, and we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
A dollar demand or else in there. Huh. Well, the interesting thing to me that makes it seem like it might be legit is because they had said that there was things in there that people don't really know, like what was she wearing, the damage to the house.
But they're when you read it, they're acting as if, yeah, only we would know these things, and we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
It could be legit. It could be legit. There's things that these cops leave out. We don't know what the inside was, like the type of damage or whatever. They just said it was like a crime scene. So it could be legit, or it could be somebody making up some bullshit. This is what's inside, or whatever, and just trying to get attention, or who knows. But this happens all the time when people go missing. These people go, "Oh, we have a ransom. We have your loved one. Just send the money over here." This shit is crazy too. When I saw this, I don't understand what's going on. With the Epstein thing too. This is one of the latest things that I saw. I've been like scrolling and watching this for days, and the latest thing that I saw is this damn Brazilian thing where his pictures are in the Epstein files for some reason. Like his social media posts that he's made, for some reason, they're in the Epstein files, and I saw this person post it. I saw the original post. Dan replied under there. I gotta find this guy's original post. Grizzy or Fabriti? I don't understand what the hell is going on. But somebody had linked up that they were both at the islands around the same time. I don't know if he was actually on the island or near the island. Let me see. For Betty. And that's Post Malone right there. Just his Instagram archive. The damn Brazilian posted this image with Post Malone on Facebook in 2018. Why is this included in the Epstein files? He goes and replies and says, every pic I posted on my IG is in the files with girls' faces blacked out. That's when I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's like a legit. So he had posted this with no redactions in 2018 to social media. And then over here in the Epstein files, it's there redacted. It's like, what the hell is going on? What are these people doing? But then somebody, I was scrolling down earlier and somebody had matched like some flights or something. I don't know what's here. Here, somebody, the DOJ appears to be muddying the waters by excessive redactions, creating an impression that random individuals are victims while subtly implicating unrelated celebrities. But someone over here said their flights matched up. Jeffrey Epstein's convicted child molester, N120JE 85 2018, Palm Beach, U.S. Virgin Islands. And then over here, N701DB 8618, the day after, Los Angeles, U.S. Virgin Islands, landing in 12 minutes. I don't know. I don't know if there's any correlation. I don't know if this dude Epstein was just looking at this guy's profile, like we want to bring him into the circle next, or I don't know what. And obviously these look like adult ladies, you know, like not minors, but maybe traffic victims. Odd. Every day is some weird shit coming out with the Epstein files, yo. Watch live as Renee Good's brothers testify at Democratic Forum on Capitol Hill about federal agents' actions.
Cameras and
Oh, they're going to testify today. Nick sort of said, what's the point in them testifying? That were they there? Just Democrat theater. Melania had a movie too. Well, they say I think it bombed in IMDb, but I think that's just people flooding the shit with negative reviews. I wonder if those people have actually watched it. Melania. They're trying to say the Island Boys on there. Oh my gosh. They're also saying there was this weird video of this guy. So there's some video, because there's videos and pictures on the Epstein files that were released. And there's some dude that everybody's trying to say, who is this? Everybody's trying to say, can you recognize him? Anybody recognize this guy? You know, with like a weird smile. Bad redacting. I don't know what kind of redactions they were doing with these files, but some dude there. The sports news, Charlie Kirk murderer is in court at the moment. Oh, really? Let's see. Is it, they showing him? Charlie Kirk. The Colombian president is supposed to give a press conference after meeting with Trump. I wonder what that's going to be about, because he was talking so much shit about Trump. Ransom note. Charlie Kirk live courtroom. Let's see.
Parties, I appreciate
Oh, yeah.
This is an important matter, and the court takes it very seriously.
Horrible audio. We could switch over, cover
There
that.
has been no violations of the December 23rd, 2025 decorum order by the still photographer. That being said, this court wishes to exercise caution and will request that the still photographer go behind the bar, to the bar being the separating lower wall, and reposition his camera at that place. I appreciate the
Let me find out what today's hearing is about.
And again,
We'll see if we start a new
balancing
stream.
open and transparent courts with the constitutional rights of all parties involved. All right. While that's occurring, I'll turn to the state. The court would appreciate a brief update on the status of discovery.
Your Honor, Chad Greenender for the state. To date, we have shared with the defense 100% of what we have received from law enforcement. With that said, we have been informed late last week that there is approximately, there's several terabytes of digital evidence from phones and other digital devices that the State Bureau of Investigations has in their possession. We are collecting a 20 terabyte hard drive to two of them, one for us and one for the defense. We did receive a letter, I think, this morning from the defense outlining their expectations with respect to how that would be received. Original form and more specifics as well. So we're in the process of coordinating that download onto those hard drives of the digital evidence that's been collected, and we will provide that as soon as we receive that and it's downloaded to the defense. We are still working with law enforcement on the download of approximately 30 days of all of the surveillance video at UVU. We were told it was approximately 300 terabytes, and that's being downloaded 24/7. So that is still in process. So we're actively working on that and looking forward to collecting that and passing that along to the defense. It will need to be shared in some sort of similar fashion, I'm sure, with respect to hard drives.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Does defense want to be heard?
That is correct, Your Honor. Stacey Visser on behalf of the defense. We are in communication with the state about what we believe is missing at this point, and we are anticipating a large amount of digital discovery in the next few weeks that we will need to process.
All right. Thank you.
May I supplement this conversation, Your Honor?
Briefly.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've kind of divided up discovery responsibilities, and mine is to address what I'll call non-digital forensics. So there are many items of seized evidence that have been sent to various law enforcement labs around the country without getting into the details. We have some very, what I'll refer to as summary reports of those evaluations. But as the state attorneys know, we're going to need all of the underlying data, notes. These relate to things like DNA and other forensics. So if we haven't provided them with a very, very detailed list of the types of documents we need, we will. But I think, and Mr. Grunander could speak to this in more detail in terms of the status of that, but I think that's another big chunk of materials that presumably the state attorney's office has not received yet from law enforcement. And so obviously they haven't had a chance to give it to us, and we haven't had an opportunity to look at it or to have our own experts review those types of materials.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. All right, before the, Mr. Grunander.
We'll make a point to follow up on that with the law enforcement agencies. We'll communicate with defense counsel on that, Judge.
I appreciate the cooperation between the parties. Before the court proceeds further, it's appropriate to address the record. The court notes the recent filing by victim representative Erica Kirk involving the statutory right to a speedy disposition of the charges under Utah Code Section 77-38-7 sub 2. This court raises this issue solely to ensure that the record accurately reflects the statutory obligations governing the matters presently before it, and not to suggest any view regarding the merits or outcome of these proceedings. Under this statute, a crime victim has a right to a speedy disposition of charges free from unwarranted delay. When considering a defendant's request to continue a previously scheduled trial or other significant criminal proceeding, the court must inquire into the circumstances asserted as the basis for delay and must consider the victim's interests in timely resolution together with the defendant's constitutional and statutory rights. The court emphasizes that the defendant's rights to due process, to present evidence, and to receive full and impartial consideration of all arguments remain paramount and undiminished. The court's responsibility to balance these interests faithfully and without preference to any party. As previously stated on the record at the September 29th hearing, justice demands that both of these principles, the rights of the accused and the rights of the victims, be honored without compromise. With that framework established, the court will hear briefly from counsel concerning how you propose proceeding today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Richard Novak, again from Mr. Robinson. We're prepared to continue with Mr. Gray's testimony. We did file what I captioned a renewed request that this court proceed under a particular section of the Utah Code to refer this motion to the Attorney General. So it's obviously up to Your Honor to decide if the court wants to address that renewed request in writing now or at a different time. I do want, whenever it is the court's view that it's timely, to address the issue that the court just brought up, which is how the court, well, what I want to address is how the court will manage the question of whether Mr. Robinson needs more time to prepare for the preliminary hearing. So the court got an update on the status of discovery. The court noted Ms. Kirk's filing, which of course we are all aware of, and we understand her rights as the representative of the victim in this case. There are challenges under Utah law when the defense needs to communicate to the court the details of its diligence in terms of preparation for a hearing, because we're not going to make a public filing of work product. And I'm sure the court understands exactly what I mean.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is the court brought up the filing and the significance of that for future proceedings. We're going to need to have, if I may, what I would call sort of a case management conference at some point about how the court will manage our need to be able to share with the court the status of our work, which we believe is confidential and privileged, in light of the fact that every time we file something and ask the court to designate it as private, we have counsel for the media trying to unseal it. And we also don't intend to disclose to the state the status of our diligence. And so I'm not asking the court to address it now. I guess I'm just trying to put a Post-it note on somebody's list. It's certainly on our list, and we didn't really intend to bring that up at the outset of today's proceeding, but since the court mentioned Ms. Kirk's filing, it just seems like the right time to mention that. So we're prepared to proceed with further testimony from Mr. Gray and keep going with the evidentiary hearing unless the court wants to address what I captioned our renewed request.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
Thank you.
To the state.
And Your Honor, the state's prepared to go forward with the evidentiary hearing. We are prepared also to address this renewed request. If Your Honor would like to do that at the outset, I would suggest that Your Honor set a time limit on that argument so that if, assuming that motion's denied, that we can move on with the evidentiary hearing. We've got witnesses who've been subpoenaed. They're ready to testify.
All right. Well, I appreciate that update, and I do want to give some guidance of how today's hearing is going to go, and both parties have touched upon that. Based on the record before the court as it relates to the evidentiary hearing, and in order to ensure a fair, orderly, and efficient proceeding, the court will proceed as follows. First, we will address what Mr. Novak just brought up in regards to the referral to the Attorney General's office briefly, and you'll see why I say briefly with my next statement. Counsel will have until 4:30 to present evidence, including cross-examination and any redirect. Motions for supplemental briefing are denied at this time, as the court finds the issues adequately framed for today's proceedings. These parameters are not intended to limit any party's substantive rights, but to keep the proceedings focused and free from any unnecessary delay. Upon the close of the evidence, the court will proceed to argument. Each side will be allotted 15 minutes. Mr. Novak, or to any of the attorneys who would be making closing arguments, if you intend to reserve time for rebuttal, please allocate your time accordingly. This court will conclude at 5 o'clock. And in addition, the court anticipates issuing its ruling in order to give the evidence and the arguments presented today the careful and deliberate consideration they warrant. That proceeding will be scheduled at the conclusion of today's hearing. And so, counsel, with that in mind, we will turn to the motion to refer, or the motion concerning the Attorney General's office. I will hear from both parties. It is your time. I am not putting constraints on who you call, what questions you ask, in part, but keep in mind these time constraints as we address this issue. Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Your Honor. We filed what we captioned the renewed request because obviously at the last hearing we brought the request verbally, and obviously the court's read our renewed request and our points and authorities. We received the brief written by Mr. Ballard, which is very clear and very well written, and we understood
Be right back.
the views expressed there. We just disagree fundamentally on what that code section means. We disagree fundamentally on the suggestion that there's a separation of powers problem. It is ultimately this court's responsibility to ensure that parties are represented by conflict-free counsel. Obviously, in the legal profession, there is an initial expectation that counsel will avoid conflicts. But there are always situations where a party needs to bring a conflict on the other side to the court's attention, and the court has both the statutory authority and the inherent authority under the common law to do something about it. So we do believe that this is well within the court's discretion. The statute actually tells the court that it needs to encourage the state to seek assistance. That seems to be a gentle way to say that the state is at least disqualified from litigating its own disqualification issue. And then I'm going to reserve the rest of my time for our evidentiary hearing and closing arguments.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
Thank you.
Turning to the state, Mr. Ballard.
Your Honor, it feels like Groundhog Day. Here we are, we've got, again, we're supposed to be having an evidentiary hearing, and Mr. Gray should be on the stand, and instead we're arguing again this issue about whether this court can refer this issue to the Attorney General's office. And I guess if I were in Your Honor's position, I'd be wondering why the defense insists on raising this issue in a way that doesn't allow this court or the parties to be able to fully analyze it and brief it. The defense finally did file a written motion, but waited until Friday afternoon to file that. So as we've outlined in our alternative point in our response, I think this court would be well within its discretion to just deny that motion as untimely. But on the merits of that motion, I think as we've explained in our response, and Your Honor's indicated that you've read that, I think we've explained clearly why this statute does not apply in the way that the defense claims it does. And I'm happy to walk through the statute and the points that we've made. I don't want to belabor that. If Your Honor has any questions about the statute, I'm happy to answer those. But I think it's clear that this statute does not allow the court to replace a prosecutor. At best, what it allows is the court to recommend that the county attorney seek the help of the Attorney General's office. So I don't believe that this statute has any application. The cases that the defense has cited are irrelevant to this issue. And for those reasons, unless the court has any further questions about the state's opposition, I'd submit it.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Anything further from the parties before this court issues a ruling?
No, thank you.
All right. So before this court's defendant's renewed request to refer the pending motion to disqualify to the Office of the Utah Attorney General. In support of that request, the defendant relies upon Utah Code Section 17-18A-304, which provides that the Attorney General shall assist a county prosecutor only if the court finds that the prosecutor is unable to satisfactorily and adequately perform the duties of prosecution, and recommends that the prosecutor seek additional legal assistance. The defendant argues that where there exists a non-frivolous basis, factual basis, suggesting a potential conflict of interest, the court should make such a finding and recommend assistance from the Attorney General. The court has carefully considered that argument and reviewed the briefings. However, the statute does not adopt the standard proposed by the defendant, nor does such a standard appear in existing case law or court rules. The statute requires specific findings regarding a prosecutor's inability to satisfactorily and adequately perform prosecutorial duties before referral is appropriate. At this stage of the proceeding, the court is not persuaded by those statutory conditions have been met. Based on the record presently before the court, there is no indication that the Utah County Attorney's Office lacks the resources, knowledge, or ability to litigate the motion to disqualify on behalf of the state. Accordingly, the court cannot make findings required under Section 17-18A-304 to justify referral to the Attorney General's office. For these reasons, and without expressing any views on ultimate merits of the motion to disqualify itself, the defendant's renewed request for referral is respectfully denied. All right, counsel, let's go ahead and proceed. Mr. Ballard.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could I just clean up one piece of the record? Your Honor referred to the statute as 1718A, but I think it's actually been renumbered. It's 17-68-304 is the current citation.
Agreed.
Thank you. I appreciate that correction, and that is correct. I appreciate that, and to clarify the record, thank you to both parties. And so my ruling reflects that 17-68A-304. All right, counsel, are we ready to proceed with continuation of the direct examination of Mr. Gray?
Yes, except to quickly implement the exclusionary order that the court entered at the last hearing with respect to prospective witnesses.
All right, the court will take a very brief 3-minute break in order to accomplish all parties speaking with whoever needs to be spoken to and for them to be excluded, and then we will proceed. It is now 1:38. We'll come back at 1:41. Court is in brief recess.
All right.
Charlie Kirk. They took it off? Or they're taking a break? The audio? What happened? Or they're showing something in court?
Mr. Ballard.
All right, so I'm not going to keep this going because this reminds me of like the Brian Koberger stuff. It's just kind of boring. And, when the trial happens, if it happens, when it happens, I'll definitely, I don't know what we'll do, but. So I'm going to jump over to Rumble Premium for a little bit, just to start early this month to get my 5 hours in. They're doing a recess? Okay. I'm going to do a 1 hour premium over there on Rumble and go through some clips and stuff that's safer over there to use. And then we'll see what happens tonight. All right? Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, yeah, I actually was in the bathroom, yeah. Yeah, you guys know too much. You know too much. I don't know.